Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
From Eden Hazard! Kai Havertz in the Champions League final! Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him, but it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver! Matic takes the net off! Hat-trick hero! Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game!
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode...
Oh yes, the Chelsea player rankings is back. Is Cole Palmer number one? Of course he is. Who else is it going to be? Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in the virtual room filled with every lion. I've got Ollie, I've got Perth, I've got Chris. It's the Friday show on a Thursday. And of course, what are you all looking forward to this weekend?
It's my 50th. It's my brother's 50th birthday.
Oh,
it's
I
not
wonder
my
where you were
50th.
going with that.
Yeah, it's not my 50th. It's my brother's 50th birthday tomorrow. So we'll
Bloody
party
hell.
around his. And yeah, I'm very much the baby of the family. So obviously everyone loves me.
Yeah,
But yeah, that'll be a
fair
good time. That'll be a
It
good
will.
time tomorrow.
Chris, do you remember your 50th?
It's
too long ago.
Very funny,
That is funny, Chris. That is funny. Come on.
honestly.
What's funnier is that it was in 1976.
What's funny is that people, like the listeners, are actually probably agreeing with us, going, "Oh yeah, I thought it was about
bloody-
that age."
Oh, well,
I'm not talking anymore. That's it. I quit.
Chris is
I'm
actually,
refusing-
he's actually
I'm
22.
refusing to train. Refusing to
He's
train now.
refusing to train. Oh man, on that context, actually, if you did that in the NFL, you'd get a fine. Oh, what's that? Oh yeah, the NFL kicks off this weekend. I can't wait. Ravens at Chiefs tonight. Packers take on the Eagles in Brazil. Then they're not allowed out their hotels apparently, and that's a very interesting story in itself. Huge Sunday for me. Football's back, baby. Chris, come on, back in, train. Come on, we want to know what you're doing.
Why are they keeping eagles in Brazilian hotels?
Oh, because of safety fears. Safety fears. There's more to it. There's good articles on the internet about it. I was reading going, so why is there a game?
Seems like a wildlife issue to me.
I'll tell you what, just on the NFL, American football sort of thing, I was watching some college football and some clips of like the atmospheres. They are amazing, by the way. They are genuinely
they are.
really. Is it Penn State who has like they have like a white out and they're all in white and it's like they're absolutely bouncing when like, the team comes out.
I would feel aggrieved to the listener if I don't say Virginia Tech. You know, listener, the Enter the Sandman entrance. It's just so good. It's so good. Just check
I'm
it
a
out.
Purdue boy personally.
Yeah.
Go Boilermakers.
But, oh my word, it's so good. Come on, Chris, what are you doing? What are you doing this weekend?
I'm absolutely buzzing for the international break, mate.
Yeah, am I actually? Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
wait for it.
'cause-
I'm so excited for it.
Oh,
I
isn't
can't
it the,
wait
the
to watch some.
Nations League?
Can't wait to
Yeah.
watch some worse football than you normally watch.
Hey, whoa.
And you
Whoa.
have to pretend to like people you don't like.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, I've
Like-
got.
How stupid is it that 3 games into the Premier League season we're having an international break?
Oh, do you know what? When I first heard it was an international break, I threw my phone at the wall. I was so upset.
You say that as I warned the team beforehand. I've got the Denmark Switzerland game on my other monitor. Not in. I'm watching it properly. Go on, Beth.
Also, yeah, just quietly, like I think it's really, really nice to see Chris in a positive mood for once. I think he's so happy today already. It's just really good to see.
Listen,
I
if
have
you were
told you
80,
before.
if you were 89, you would be grumpy too.
That's very true.
I am the most positive person we have.
Chris, I'll
It's
just ask you
true.
this one question. I will ask you this one question. As your bus pass expired, is that why you're so
Flipping
angry?
hell. Oh no.
I hate the. I hate the bus.
Don't know what you're upset about. You get free prescriptions and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had some. I paid £9.90 for a prescription today for my my back. I'm joining the old crew.
Wow. See,
Long, isn't it?
Mine was gym related, but come on, Ollie, you haven't had your chance. What are you looking forward to?
Oh yeah, same as Chris. To be honest, international break. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch. Yeah, like Chris said, just mediocre football. I guess we might see some good goals though.
Well, there is always that. Hey, before we dive into the news, we do have a Shevva shout out. Oh yes, Strict Person via Apple Podcasts said, fun listen and good guys. Always love the podcasts. When Chelsea scored their 6th goal this week, my first thought was that the pod was going to be fun this week. Thanks, Jow. Supporting the podcast and the club from Tennessee in the USA. Appreciate the laughs, guys. Justin. Oh, Tennessee. I wonder, that's probably not the same guy, but heed the call, have Justin Graver who's a Tennessee Titans fan. And I'm just sort of thinking, is it? It won't be, but is it? Oh, that meant nothing to you guys, did it?
No,
I have no idea what you just said.
No,
No
I
idea what
don't
you
doubt
just
that,
said.
Mikey. I'm not
There's a
gonna
real
lie.
Oh, don't.
there's a real niche listener out there who listens to both pods, or they once listened to Around the NFL and went, I got that reference. But
this
yeah,
podcast is the only 10 I see.
Yes,
Brilliant.
Ollie, dropping game there. Dropping game.
but yes,
Gonna
thank
raise
you.
you up.
Thank you, as always. The last time we read out a shout out was a Maratta moan, wasn't it? When Chris got absolutely destroyed.
I do like a Maratta moan. A good
Maratta
Maratta
moan.
moan.
Oh, right.
I do enjoy them too.
Yeah, well, one of
There's
them
a
went on
shock.
one of them went on a t-shirt when it was that good. Right, news. We're going to check out the news that you may have missed in the elevator at Chelsea news. The Premier League cleared Chelsea's £76.5 million sale of 2 hotels to a sister company. Lauren James has launched an LJ10 scholarship with the aim of increasing diversity in women's football. Chelsea would like to sell Ben Chilwell, but sending him out on loan appears more likely. Turkey is his best hope of getting a move between now and January. No interest though. Reece James is unlikely to be fit enough to start against Chelsea's next opponent, Bournemouth. Malo Gusto has withdrawn from the France under-21 squad. Cole Palmer has withdrawn from the England squad. He's also been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, the Goal of the Month and Player of the Month. And finally, after winning league titles in Turkey and Japan, the Champions League and Europa League with Chelsea, Juan Mata has just signed for Western Sydney Wanderers in the A-League, and I am very interested to see how he gets on. But what anything you want to talk about in the news before I go on about that ESPN article?
I'll tell you what
Yeah.
actually did catch my eye earlier, which actually wasn't said in the news. I thought it would be brought up. Cole Palmer being omitted from the
Yeah.
Conference League squad, which I thought was interesting. But I actually, a lot of people are moaning about it. I actually think I'm not too disappointed by it. I actually think, you know what? If we can't get through that group or whatever leagues format it's in now without Cole Palmer, we don't deserve to go through.
Yeah, I'd agree there.
And I'd rather Cole Palmer be fit for the Premier League games, the FA Cup games, the League Cup games, than the Conference League, if I'm being brutally honest. We've got a big enough squad, good enough players. Let's sugarcoat him. Let's wrap him in bubble wrap. Let's protect him.
I think the thing is with that, what bugs me a bit is that it's for load management, and you could go one way, or that's nonsense. Actually, let's be realistic. Footballers are asked to play a lot more games nowadays, and more each year. I mean, I read somewhere that Jude Bellingham's played 5 times the number of games that Beckham did at the same age. I mean, that in itself is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine Jude Bellingham might become like Wayne Rooney. Yeah, an icon, a legend of the game. But remember how their careers petered out because they were just driven into the... Michael Owen as well. People remember him at Man United and Stoke and all that, and Newcastle, and go, oh, he was a bit crap. He wasn't. He won the Ballon d'Or. He was incredible. But again, injuries and just playing so many games at a young age, it really impacts you. I mean, what does everyone else think about Cole Palmer and the omission from the squad?
I think Berth's right. I think if you can't get through without Cole Palmer, you probably shouldn't deserve to go through. Having said that, from like a practical perspective, he does ensure you go through a lot more with like there's a lot higher chance we go through with him than without him.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Yeah.
So like, if you're talking about maximizing your chances for a trophy this season, then you probably take him. If you're more worried about load management and doing better in the league, you probably don't. So it's one of them, isn't it? It's a trade-off that you got to make. He can't play every single game all year. He's going to have to be rested somewhere, and the Conference League is the place probably where that's the easiest to like make up spaces. So yeah,
Chris.
Yeah, I do agree. I thought the more shocking one actually was Lavia. Not because he doesn't need managing, because he does, obviously, because he's another one who's struggling for fitness, but more the fact that we just don't have any centre midfielders. So
yeah,
what happens if we go into those games and one of Caicedo or Enzo's injured, who's playing then?
A goalkeeper?
Yeah, we're going to have to, because we've left ourselves really short in midfield without putting Lavia in the squad. I think that's because what I don't understand is you can have these players in the squad and not use them.
Well, true.
But you don't have to play them just because they're in the squad. I just think I think omitting them all together is risky. Because if it doesn't go well in the Conference League, as much as everyone says that they don't care about it, they will care if we're losing to Noah.
Yeah, I get that. I'd say what's also quite surprising actually is that Colwell isn't actually in the main squad. He's in the B tier, which I think is kind of like a reserve, if I'm not mistaken.
You can make changes, I believe, 3 changes or something between now.
Yeah, so
January, is it?
I believe I'm not.
We're banking on our B team to get us through it, basically.
And if I'm not mistaken as well, I think you can actually revise that squad if you get through to the next stage in January.
Yeah,
if
you
I'm
can.
not mistaken.
Yeah,
it'll be a different squad then.
Yeah, I reckon they probably chuck a few more players in if we get to January and we're still in it.
Right, multiple requests via Twitter, Instagram, and also my own front door. We're going to cover the ESPN article written by James Ollie. No relation to our Ollie. It was titled Chelsea Transfer Plan, Wild Spending Spree or Wise Strategy. We all have lives though, don't we? We aren't going to read all 4,822 words. So it's a very long article, bullet pointed. And then like the vultures, we might just pick apart the carcass of the bits we want to actually discuss. I managed to get it down to 9 points. So we can pretty much run through this. Chelsea fans chanted Conor Gallagher's name despite the team's 1-0 deficit against City, showing discontent with the club's current management and identity crisis. 2, Gallagher, an academy graduate, was part of a group of players excluded from the first team, the Bomb Squad, and later sold to Atletico. Chelsea, under new ownership by Todd Bowley and Clearlake, spent over 1.2 billion on 40 players, moved on or released 38 others, signing them to very long-term contracts. Number 4, the club's massive personnel turnover and ongoing struggles on the pitch have led to scepticism among fans and pundits. Raheem Sterling's surprise loan move to Arsenal, with Chelsea subsidising his wages, reflects the club's chaotic transfer dealings. Chelsea's transfer strategy, characterised by high spending, long contracts and a bloated squad, has raised concerns about the club's sustainability and compliance with financial regulations. The club has undergone significant backroom changes with a focus on data-driven recruitment and younger talent, but this has led to instability and challenges for managers. The club is under scrutiny for potential breaches of Premier League profit and sustainability rules and UEFA's FFP regs. And there are doubts about the effectiveness and rationale behind Chelsea's transfer strategy and whether it aligns with best practice in football management. I mean, it felt like a very much just an attack on Chelsea, the whole thing. It was hard to find any positives, but did you guys read it? Do you even care about it?
I don't know. I didn't read it, but from hearing your 9 bullet points there on what the article was about, I don't know. It sounded pretty bang on to me. It sounded to me like he was just kind of stating things that were the case about the club at the moment, about the instability and the fan discontent and all that other stuff, and all the things basically causing the shitstorm at the club right now. So I don't know. To me, that sounded pretty accurate, but I don't. Maybe I'm just a negative Nelly. I don't know.
I feel like we don't ever get positive stories about Chelsea anymore.
Doesn't
no. I mean, it's difficult. I'm kind of like a bit tired of just talking about all these transfers and that we've got such a big squad and so and so's gone and so and so's, because I can't defend it. None of us can defend what they've done. The only thing we can do now is just kind of forget about it, move on, focus on the season. And it sounds so cliche and such a boring answer, but there is literally nothing we can do. We cannot change any of this. And everything that was wrote is absolutely spot on. I don't disagree with any of it. I wouldn't have got sold Gallagher. I wouldn't have sold Sterling. I wouldn't have wanted Chilwell to go out on loan or whatever. But the problem is I'm not in charge of Chelsea. I'm not the manager of Chelsea. And if this is what they're doing, I have to support them because I support Chelsea. So you have to forget about it and you have to just go, you know what? Fuck it. It is what it is. I'll focus on whatever they do on the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, it also probably doesn't help that as of today, Chris Jurasek has left Chelsea as well. I don't know when he was appointed. I can't even remember what he did.
It wasn't that long ago. His most notable thing was he called all the fans customers.
That went down well, didn't it?
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be missed.
No, he's not. Chris, anything before we go to rankings?
I think it's still quite cute of people that they call what we're doing a strategy.
It's a project.
There's no strategy, mate. Like they are just firing in the dark.
Yeah.
You know, the whole
Possible.
for me this summer, the Sterling thing this summer summed up how there is no strategy in what we're doing. We are just reacting to what's happening rather than actually having a plan. Because if you wanted Sterling gone, they knew how much he was on the whole of last season. So if you wanted him gone, you'd have started to find him a move in June.
Correct.
You wouldn't have waited until 10 days before the window shuts and then go, oh,
It's not like he was even at the Euros either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he wasn't even busy all summer. So that summed up to me that we don't really know what we're doing. Their only strategy is buy young for cheap and hope they make a profit on them. That's the strategy.
Yeah. I can't disagree with you there. One thing that we did do though, we sold Angelo to Saudi Pro League for a €9 million profit.
And that's
quite good. So that's a positive. I mean, we nearly sold David Washington for a huge deal, and then obviously we realised I don't think this is going to be allowed. We're going to get looked at. Yeah, we probably would going to be looked at. Does look. I think
that Angelo deal though, as good as it is for us financially, I think it hurts us reputation wise.
Yeah, well,
because we signed him as a same with Santos. If Santos comes back and is sold next summer, I think we're going to struggle then to sign wonder kids because they're not going to come because both of those players were signed with big reputations and high hopes, and we've sort of ruined both of them and then selling them to clubs.
I'm not sure we can say we ruined
I hope that Santos actually does play. Well,
I don't think we can say we ruined Angelo because, like, I don't know. We sent him out to like a mid-table French league club. He did all right there. Like, so yeah, and we sold him for a profit. So I don't know. I think
but he's gone to the Saudi league.
But again, though, with Santos, I think you can argue exactly the same that we sent him out on loan to Nottingham Forest. Looked good on paper. They didn't play him. Come back, went out on loan to Strasbourg. He's done okay. He's not pulled up any trees. What more can we do for a player? If he good enough, he good enough.
I don't think that's how players are going to look at it, though.
No,
young players are going to look at it like they went to Chelsea and failed. A bit like why we struggle to get strikers now.
I'm kind of with Chris on that.
Look at Cole Palmer, though.
I agree, but Cole Palmer is a unicorn. He's a unicorn player because no one, when we signed him, thought he'll be a world beater. No one thought that.
Okay, then. What about Malo Gusto?
No one thought he's not better.
Again, though, I think the difference is that these players are coming from European leagues. I think that's the difference.
True. Good point.
I honestly think that if the money's there, it won't matter.
Yeah, that's another good point. Right, we welcome with open arms the international break, just like we welcome finding out our star player has suffered an injury whilst opening that bag of top quality topsoil from our $4.99 value series. But that does mean we get to pause and check in on our Chelsea player rankings for the first time this season. A few things have changed, though, listeners, since we last took stock. Our overall second best player since departed, and we have shrunk the list down from 15 to 10. See, we're not like Chelsea. We don't need a big list. We just nice tidy list. So
we still have the absolutely horrible announcements.
I have no idea what you are.
You mean the best announcements ever?
I have no idea what I have. Well, we don't have a 15 anymore. So, right, we have a top 10 of players crucial to the squad, or who we think are our top 10 players in the squad. It's a bit of both. It's our list. We do what we please. So we'll go from our list from 10 to 1. We'll have a brief sentence on each one and let's just see where the debate takes us. So,
number 10.
Oh,
they're amazing, Ollie. Ollie, how dare you slate them? They are the best thing ever.
Number 10.
He misses this one.
Number 15.
He misses that so much.
That is the one I miss the most.
Right, I have got no shocks here. I've got Philip Jorgensen. Because, call it a bit of Danish favoritism.
That's just ridiculous.
I don't care.
That is ridiculous.
I don't care.
That is 100% favoritism.
I don't care. He's proven himself to be more reliable between the posts than Sanchez.
Has he?
Have you seen him have a howler yet? I don't think so.
Yeah.
No,
Shevva.
that
Shevva.
ground. No, that ground gave way under his feet. I will not have
Bullshit.
that. No,
He still
no,
got hands to it.
no. Well, so did Sanchez, and the ball went nearly in the net. So
Yeah, but we don't talk about Sanchez. We all try and forget.
We
he
all know
exists.
Sanchez is shit. He's not in any of our rankings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
Right.
Mikey, carry on. Mikey, carry on.
No.
Yeah, carry on.
I'm
Try and justify it.
Who's your? I've just justified it. I like him.
You haven't. Okay.
Chris, who have you got at 10?
Mikey's going
I've
straight
got-
for you on this one.
I've got Pedro Neto.
Oh, what?
Oh, okay. Okay. That's
I think it's
better
too-
than yours, Mikey. That is
It's
better.
too soon for him. In my
No,
opinion.
I'll tell you why. He's our best option on left wing. So
I agree.
I think
I
if
agree.
he was to get injured, for example, I think everyone who goes on that left wing won't be as good. So that makes him quite important.
It's not like he's got an injury problem or anything.
Oh
No,
don't do that to
luckily
me.
not.
Don't do that to me. Berth, who have you got?
Oh, this is also controversial. My number 10 is Enzo Fernandez.
But right, I catch a lot of heat on this pod.
Yeah.
I'm just like to point out that Enzo is in my top 10, so he is higher than Berth.
Okay.
And I just want
that's
that on
fair.
record.
That's fair.
Wow.
And you know what? I would not dispute that. What I will say is,
Okay.
if you look at all of our midfielders, well, our main two midfielders, Caicedo and Enzo,
Mhm.
I think when we're winning games, who is more influential and who is more important? I personally think Caicedo is.
Yeah.
Enzo Fernandez is a fantastic footballer. He's a great passer, fantastic. I've been his biggest fan on this part. Out of all of us, I think I'm probably his biggest fan. But I think as far as importance goes to that starting 11, I don't think he's as important as a Moises Caicedo. That's why he's
Okay.
number 10.
All right.
Agreed.
Okay. Ollie, round it off.
It's going to be a double for Enzo Fernandez. I
Thank you,
Ollie.
Ollie. 10 as well.
I can't believe this.
I
Yeah,
can't
The
I-
believe
tables
it.
have turned.
I was actually really struggling
Can't
to
believe
think
it.
about who would be number 10. I thought about putting Renato Vega in there for a long time.
Oh, nice. I like that.
But
Wow.
but in the end, I just couldn't quite justify it. He's just a little too new in my
Okay.
view. But yeah, I think Enzo. Yeah, he's 10th, isn't he? Like he can do better, and we all know he can.
At number 9, I've got Chris's pick. I've got Pedro Neto because he's the wild card that we all love. You know, he's creative, he's unpredictable, and he's ready to make that something happen. He's kind of like a spark plug in our attack. I just hope he stays fit. But whenever he's come on, he has actually influenced and changed the game. We kind of get a bit excited. I like it. That's why he's 9. Chris, who have you got?
So basically, the theme of my list is I've gone with players important, not only on how they perform, but also depth in their position.
Yeah, same for me,
okay.
to be fair. I've gone that way.
Yeah. So in 9th, I've got Malo Gusto.
I have as well got Malo Gusto at 9.
I actually
Because-
also have Malo Gusto at 9.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because
Wow.
he's important because he's a good player, but he's also important because Reece James is never going to be fit. So
But also,
we don't really have a
he
lot of
hasn't-
depth there.
He drops down the list a little from probably where he was because he's not been as good
Yes, that's why he's low for
since
me.
our last ranking.
I'll add on to that. I'll add on to what Ollie's point is. He's also not been as good since he's inverted. And that's
Correct.
why he's
Yeah,
9.
true.
If he weren't inverting, I'd probably put him a bit higher. But because he's been asked to invert, that's why he's number 9 for me.
Right, 8th, I've got Marc Cucurella because I feel like he's carried on being solid like he was in for Spain at the Euros. He was good at the back end. He needs to be inverted. I know it puts Colwill out, but I still think he should be the inverted player. Chris, who have you got?
I've got Madueke.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Wow.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And the reason why he's quite low is because I still think there's a consistency issue, and I do think that if someone like Nkunku or Felix, who sort of play in those inside positions where Palmer plays, was to start playing really well,
Yeah.
I think Palmer would be pushed out to the right and Madueke would be dropped if he's showing the inconsistency still. So I think just for that, that's why he drops down a little bit
Okay.
lower for me.
Okay. Ollie, who have you got?
Number 8, I'm like you, Mikey. I've got Cucurella.
Oh.
I think he drops a little bit because he's not inverting at the moment. I agree with you, Mikey. I don't know what the solution for that is. Maybe you've got to play. Maybe you play Colwell and Fofana the other way round, so Colwell can still be in the middle and you have Fofana on the wing. I don't know, but yeah, for me, Cucurella. A year ago, I couldn't have imagined putting him in this high up in a list. So
very
for
true.
him to have come as far as he has in the last season, you have to give it to him, don't you?
Berth, round it off.
I've got Pedro Neto. I think he's there because I think he's our best left winger. I think he's arguably our best out-and-out winger in the squad. I think the only problem that lets him down is, one, he's new to the club and that he's got injury problems. If we get a prime Pedro Neto at Chelsea, he'd 100% be higher than he is now. But I have to put him 8. But I do really like him as a player.
Okay, so 7, I got Romeo Lavia because he is like a new signing, and the difference in our midfield when he's on the pitch versus when he's not is night and day. I feel like what is my theme, my list? I just feel like this is the players like when they're fit, which also is very awkward because there's an omission in this list. There's 2 big omissions.
I'll tell you now. Lavia is not on my list because
he's not on mine
fit.
either. He's not on mine either.
He would have been if he hadn't have got this injury and with how he started the season and had pre-season. He would have been in my list. But basically, you can't trust the bloke.
I feel like when we get to the revisited in the next international break, my entire top 10 is going to be dramatically different. But we'll see.
New players.
We'll see. We'll snake it back. Berth, who have you got at 8? 7.
This might be interesting. A surprise one. I've gone for Wesley Fofana.
Oh,
okay.
Because I think he's starting to show that he's actually a very good centre back, which he absolutely is.
He is.
He's keeping fit at the moment. I think on his day, I think he's our best centre back. And I think he probably is better than Colwell on his day. He's just not there yet. But I think if he stays fit and he keeps building this partnership with Colwell, I think them two could be a very, very hard pair of centre-backs to beat if you're a striker.
Ollie?
Speaking of Colwell, I've gone for Levy Colwell at number 7. I think he's kind of starting to just a little bit starting to bloom and blossom into the centre back that we all kind of knew he was going to become. I think he's looked really assured, especially for how young he is. He's one of the youngest players in the whole squad. You've got to remember, and he's doing really well. It's taken him a lot of time to adjust to the life in the first team, but I think he's a part of it now. He feels a part of it. He's a big part of the furniture, and Maresca seems to really like him as well. So he's going to be playing, which is always good, and in his right position as well, which is always important. So he's 7th for me.
Okay, Chris, who have you got?
I've got someone who, when we come back to this list, will either be a lot higher or won't be in it completely. I've got Nkunku.
Is this your number 7 or number 6? Sorry,
number 7.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I still think he's really important because I still see him as the most natural finisher we have, but he hasn't started the season well, and he has let me. Yeah,
he isn't in my list.
Wow. That's surprising. That is surprising.
Won't be the most surprising thing today.
I think with how he started the season, I do think it's probably fair, but I just think over the course of the season, when we need goals, he is going to be the person we look to outside of Palmer.
Well, I agree with that.
We'll have to, but when he does score those goals, then it'll be worth going up the rankings for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, moving on to 6. I've got Christopher Nkunku. He has a simple formula, doesn't he? He scores goals, and we all know how important goals are in winning games of Chelsea football. Chris, who have you got at 6?
Enzo Fernandez.
Wow.
Fair play.
Basically,
I'm
I'm his biggest fan on this pod now.
Yeah.
Just official. Again, I just think we've got a severe lack of depth in midfield. So if anything was to happen to him, I don't know who comes in and plays, because Lavia will probably be injured. So I think even though I'm not his biggest fan, and I think he's got to do way more, he's this high up the list because anyone who played instead of him would be like Cassidy. So we'd be in
Oh,
real
no.
problems. So you know what I mean? But
well,
Great Cesare.
yeah.
that just leaves Enzo in my top 5, and he's not. I don't have him in my top 10, and I feel really bad now.
So I am officially his biggest fan on the pod.
Yeah.
I did. So what's going to say?
Wow.
He picked Jorgensen. Shut up.
No one's seen that coming.
No, I didn't pick him. Oh, it gets better because here's another one. I don't have Reece James.
I don't.
No,
have
neither do I.
James.
He hasn't
Me
played.
neither. No,
He
it's not in my
I
list.
can't rely on him. But well, there you go.
We're gonna
Maybe-
have an uncomfortable conversation about him soon.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And my choices apparently. Right, but who have you got?
Number 6, I've got Levi Colwell. I put them as a pair, him and Fofana, because I think they're going to be the two that are going to be our starting centre backs. And that's the end of the season. I think Colwell's getting better and better by each game. Looked very good the other day. And yeah, I think if he plays centre back and he keeps growing in confidence, he'll be a leader at the back for us. And I do think he's got a lot of potential. I'm his harshest critic, to be honest with you, but I know there's an unbelievable player in there, and I just want to show it a bit more. But yeah, he's got to be 6.
Ollie, who is your final 6?
I did the opposite to Berth. I had Colwell last time, and I've got Fofana this time. I kept them as a pair as well because they're both kind of forming a little partnership and coming along together. It's quite nice to see it. But Fofana goes above Colwell for me because because of how well he's come back from a really long, really bad injury. I'm really impressed by him. We've seen him outpacing people, doing proper sprinting, doing all the stuff that he was supposed to do, before he got injured and was really, really good at. And he's come back to it, and it's like the same players back. Like when you have a really bad, really long injury, a lot of the time the same player that comes back isn't the one that left, and it seems like Fofana we got a really lucky break with that one. So yeah, I've been really impressed with him thus far. It's been like a new signing.
I already feel really
Fofana's
bad.
not in mine.
I should have put him in mine, but I haven't.
That's interesting. You just think it's just too soon for him?
Do you know what?
I get that. I do get that.
I think he's been decent this season, but I haven't actually watched him in any of our games and thought, I think he's been really good today. I just think he's been okay.
He's good in the last one.
That's not too bad that you're not really noticing him as a centre back. If you notice him more, then they're doing something a bit wrong.
That is true. Yeah,
I thought he was. Him and Colwell were both good against Palace. I thought.
I agree.
You know what? For 5, I've got Levi Colwell because I feel like he has gone under that radar because, especially in the opening games, because when I did this list quickly, he wasn't in my top 10 before you lot on Monday were like, he's a winner. And I'm like, yeah, let me watch back his games. I'm like, actually, he has actually been quite important to us. Like, I've missed that. Like, because you obviously, we moan about our defense, but I've been like enjoying our attack when we've actually been scoring, especially against Wolves. I was like, yeah, Colwell actually is very important when you think about it. So, right, Chris, who have you got at 5?
Caicedo.
Okay.
Similar reasons to Enzo, really. Except for I think Caicedo is more important due to what he actually does on the pitch, not just the fact that there's no one else to play. I think Caicedo is really important. But again, the reason why he's dropped down a little bit for me, because when I first wrote it out, I had him in the top 3.
Oh,
but I just don't think his performances have been as good as they were at the back end of last season. I think he started quite slow again, so that just dropped him down a little bit. But I think if he gets back to anywhere near the level he was at the back end of last season, he'd be top 3 for me.
I can't go wrong there. We'll go to Berth.
My number 5 is Nkunku. I think, like Chris said, I think he's arguably probably our best natural finisher.
Yeah.
I think if he gets a run of games and he gets a bit of form, I think he'll be up there with Palmer as one of our best players. It's just whether he can get that consistency, not get injured, and being played in the right position. I'm not convinced he's a winger. I'm not convinced he's a striker. I think he's probably best just off the striker.
Yeah.
But that's for Maresca to find out. But yeah, I think he's a really good player. I do really like him. So he's my number 5.
Ollie?
Noni Madueke for me. He goes in the middle of the list, kind of similar to what Chris was saying because of his inconsistency. He could either have from week to week, he could have a game that puts you in 10th on this list or first, or not on the list at all. So it felt right to sort of put him about in the middle.
That's okay. At 4, I've got Moises Caicedo because when he's good, he's bloody good, and when he's bad, Enzo's usually next to him.
This is it. This is it, though.
That's funny.
That's how my top 10. If someone went, you don't like Enzo. No, I made a choice. And I thought, who is more important? Because I can't have them both because they don't play well together. I thought, Enzo or Caicedo? I'm picking Caicedo. That was my decision. I'm defending myself, even though I'm doubting myself. Right, Berth, who have you got at 4?
So my number 4 is Nani Madueke. Because I think he's arguably our best right winger. If Palmer plays number 10, I think Madueke has to start on the right. Real good form at the minute. I know he missed a few chances against Palace, but it was always a threat. His hat-trick against Wolves, he was brilliant. And I do think there's a player in there, which is something that we haven't got. He can take players on. He's direct. Can use both feet. I think he's come on a lot better now with his right foot. And I think his end product is getting a lot better. Yes, inconsistency is still there, but I think he's starting to get more and more consistent as he grows in confidence and he gets more game time. So I think if he carries on like the way he is, he'll probably go up a few places if he carries on. So yeah, for now, he can be 4.
Ollie?
Number 4 for me is Romeo Lavia.
Wow.
I know, seems a bit high, doesn't
it?
But I was thinking about it, and as I was sort of trying to place him in my list, I was thinking about when he has actually played for us. And every time he has actually played for us so far this season and in pre-season, he's been a difference maker in a big, big way.
Agreed.
And him going out of the team has kind of also led to us being a little more dysfunctional in midfield. And I think that could be partially part of the reason for some of our results as of late. So I feel like he is important to that sort of to the depth of the team. It's just a shame he's out injured all the time. I think he could never crack the top 3 until he kicks this injury problem.
He's meant to be in the next game, which is something. Reece James won't
Bournemouth,
be, so.
yeah.
Right, Chris, who's your 4th?
Mark Cucurella.
Wow. That's wow. Okay.
I've not got him in my top 10, by the way. I've not got him in my top 10.
I'll tell you why he's 4th.
But no one else.
He's our only left back.
Yeah. I'll get that.
Yeah.
He's actually also one of our only players who's actually won anything.
Yeah. If he was to get injured, though, Renato Vega's got to play. And I think he's looked good in the limited time that we've seen him. But would he be ready to play 10, 15 games in a row? I'm not overly sure. I think
not without getting exposed at least a couple of times.
No, exactly. You'd start to see more flaws in his game the more that he played, I think. Whereas Cucurella not only performs, but also he is literally the only left back we have.
Yeah, that is very true. I can't. Yeah. Right, number 3, I have the most underrated forward in the Premier League. It's Nicholas Jackson.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That is an apt description as well.
Yeah, I've never known a player to be bashed so much for doing so much. He's spoken about like he doesn't actually contribute. He doesn't score. He doesn't set goals up.
He's spoken about like he's Eric Jemba.
It's like he's an awful sight. It's like, does anyone even watch him play? He's good.
You know what, Mikey? I thought he talks about Rasmus Højlund. I'd put him way above Højlund.
Yeah, breaks my heart to say, but you're right.
Jackson's twice the player Højlund is.
And he cost, like, what was it? He cost 32 million. Højlund cost 85. Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah. Right, Berth, who have you got at 3rd?
Caicedo. I've got Caicedo 3rd because I think if we play well, we're winning games. It's because he's been an absolute monster in the park. You saw it last half of last season.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any of our midfielders that can do what he can. I do really like Lavia, but I've not seen enough of him to say, yeah, he can do what Caicedo can do because he's everywhere. He can break up the play. Yes, he's a bit rash at times and he can have that mistake in him. But if he can play like he did last half of last season, I think he's an absolute monster in that midfield. So he's got to be number 3. For
I like how you kept him away from Enzo in 10th. Because we know they can't play.
Well, that's
together,
how they play on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's how they play on the pitch.
Yeah,
One's
yeah,
halfway
far
up the pitch, the other one's miles away. So.
Oh man, right. I'm going to go Ollie. Who have you got at 3?
I've also got Caicedo at number 3.
Me and Ollie, by the way. Me and Ollie. I've got.
We've gone on a wavelength today, haven't we? Both?
Yeah.
But, I also do agree with Chris when he said that Caicedo's performances have dropped off, and that's why he's put them at 5th. I agree with that. However, even despite that, he's still comfortably our 3rd best player for me. You know, I think, like Berth said, if we win a game, it's probably because he's played well. And if we lose one, it's probably because he hasn't. So
yeah, that's fair.
Chris, who have you got at 3?
Levi Colwill.
I like it. I do like it.
I can't disagree.
That's pretty high.
Well,
yeah, it is. And I do think, again, I do think he hasn't quite hit the heights that people expected of him. But
he's probably our most important centre-back. He's probably our most important centre-back at the minute.
I think he's performed the best so far this season. I think he's very important if you're going to play out.
He's definitely benefited the most from Maresca coming in.
Yeah, and I also think who else would play left-sided centre-back if he wasn't there? So again, that pushes him up the list. Yeah, exactly. So that's why he should be number 1 then. So
you leave Benoit alone.
Right. Number 2, he's not on mine. Number 2, I've got Noni Madueke because he's off to a flying start. He brings. He's exciting to watch because it's a big season for him, and I feel like he might just live up to that. He's got to hit the. This is the point. If he isn't consistent, right, between now and the next international break, he ain't going to be in my top 5. He might not even be in my top 10. He has to be consistent. But from what the small sample size of 3 games in the league and obviously the Europa League, I'm like, he's excited me, and that's why he's 2. So I've got a feeling you've all got the same number 2.
I think we've all got the same number 1 and 2, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Who have you got at 2?
Jackson.
I've got Nicholas Jackson at 2.
And I've got Nicholas Jackson at 2.
You can all expand.
Well, like you said, Mike, he's the most underrated striker in the Premier League. He's always doing everything he can for the team. He still scores goals. Everyone has a go at him because he looks a little goofy in the way that he runs. I don't know,
don't we all?
Yeah, especially me. But he's at the end of the day, he scores goals and he does everything else you want in a striker. Does he miss chances? Yes, he does. Does every striker do that? Yes, they do.
That's true.
I literally can't disagree with what Ollie's just said. Literally, all the points that I was going to make, Ollie has said, and I can't really add on to it because Jackson is the most underrated player, I think, in the league, and I think he makes other players around him better, and I think that's the biggest compliment I could give him. We've not had a number 9 like him for a long, long time.
Agreed.
And I think he's very, very underappreciated by our fan base as well. And the stick he gets is unjustified. I know he misses a few chances and he can be clumsy and a bit frustrating at times, but he is also fantastic.
I think he's the most underrated striker we've had.
I would agree with that. I think I'd agree with that.
I don't understand, with all this talk about, we need a striker, we need a clinical striker. Like, we've got a striker who's probably not far off being as clinical as most other strikers you'd go and get. We're not going to go and get Haaland. So stop comparing players to him because he's a freak. So you're not going to get one like him anyway.
Yeah, so you're settling for second best regardless. And Jackson's not a million miles away.
Outside of Haaland and potentially Harry Kane, I don't think there's another striker on the planet who you would look at and say they're going to score. If they go through, you'd put your life. If someone had a gun to your head, you'd put your life on them scoring. I don't think there is another one like that. So, all the talk about Osimhen, I watched a lot of Serie A, and I've watched him miss a lot of chances for Napoli. He scores a lot of goals as well, but he does miss a lot of chances. All strikers miss chances. And
as well,
people talking about Jackson, like you see it all over, like people talking about, Jackson, he only gets tap-ins. I don't give a shit what sort of goal he gets, to be honest.
And you know what, though? He scored a lot of good goals as well. Though that header against Wolves was a very good goal.
Yeah.
That's been the right place, that Palace goal. Scored a lot of good goals last year. And as well, our wingers scoring goals now. It's not like our old team is relying on that number 9 like it used to in the past.
Exactly.
Cole Palmer got 22 goals last year. Madueke got a fair few goals last year. Sterling got a fair few goals last year. It's different now. And the reason why they're getting so many goals is also because of Jackson. And there's not as much pressure on him this year. And I think he thrives on that. Yeah. And you have to give him a lot of credit for Palmer's success as well.
Right. Yeah. Well, number 1.
Having said that,
go on.
Cole Palmer is the best player we've got, and that's not even up for debate. So he's number 1.
You know what? I told you he weren't in my top 10 because number 1, I've got Mykhailo Mudryk, because without him, I don't think this team. There's someone there going, see, he doesn't hate him. No, of course it's Cole Palmer. Obvious things are obvious. You know, you see it, I see it, we all see it. He's our best player. Yeah. And he's not in our Euro Conference League squad.
He's absolutely comfortably our best player, and it's not even close. Hard. And he's not even 100% fit and sharp. And I know. He's not been that good this season, and he's still 100% our best player by a mile.
That I think that's it. It summed it up. There we go. Yeah. Can't wait to see what the next international break brings. We'll see. Right, Quaresma's questions, listener questions. Chris B's asked on the Discord. I know it's only 5 matches into the season, so a small sample size. But have you noticed any improvements in our set pieces, attacking or defending, given the appointment of a specialist coach at the end of last season? That's a bloody good question.
I've not seen any real difference, to be honest with you.
I think we've been better at defending them.
Yeah, I think it's too early. I think it's too early to say whether we have or we haven't. I think it's a very good question, but ask me in another 5 games time, I think.
I think we've got away with a few, though, defending them. I think there was a couple against Servette where they should have scored offset pieces. There was the free header and then the one that the lad, they got the flick on the near post and the striker put it over from on the line. So I think it's too early to say. I think attacking wise, no, I haven't seen any difference. We'll still cop at them.
Yeah,
but we're not a big team, though. That's the problem. We're not as big of a team as we used to be.
That's what I said at the time, isn't it? I said we just bought like a guy for 750 grand to tell us to buy taller players. That's what it's going to be.
Right, and this question asked by Dave, who isn't called Dave, but when I asked how to pronounce their name, they said, say Dave, because obviously they're a long-time listener, aren't they? And they know that 1, I'm really bad at pronouncing names, and 2, I'm really bad at pronouncing names. So they've asked...
It's a little proper Chelsea throwback, that. We'll just call you Dave.
Yeah. So, catching yesterday's TalkSport interview with Noni Madueke, he says he still regularly talks to Lampard, and Frank texted him after his Wolves hat-trick. Which former Blue boss do you wish would text you after a game, and why?
I'd love for Frank Lampard to text me, just because he's a hero of mine. But also Mourinho as well. I think Mourinho, because obviously... I would love to go for a beer with Mourinho, because I think he's got a lot of good stories. I think he'd be up for a laugh. I just think he's character, isn't he? So
you know what? I chose Thomas Tuchel because I thought no matter the result, no matter my performance, he would be outside the stadium in that bus ready to pick me up and take me back home. We got to remember, throw back to that. And as a backup, I'd take Graham Potter just for the validation that he'd give me after everything. He'd just be like, you know what, you gave everything that game. I'd be like, I did. Thanks, Graham. I know you don't mean it, but I did. Who have you got, Ollie?
I think I'd pick Gianfranco Zola. I think that would be a fun one to get a message from.
Is he an ex-boss though?
He was assistant.
It kind of counts. It kind of counts.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a bit of a grey area there, Ollie.
Well, what would you prefer? I said like Rafa Benitez.
No one wants you to say that, right? Because Berth's on the show. He's on the show means Lone Army Carousel. Big performance needed here, Berth, because you're 2 behind Chris, who's got 9.
I'm based on Reece James at this point. I'll you're on Friday show, then I'll be gone for about 5.
The category is the Premier League, because the Premier League has always billed itself as the best league in the world. It's not always been able to keep hold of the top players. I didn't write that. But can you name the Premier League's 25 most expensive exports in history? And by exports, that's a player sold from a Premier League club to any club across the world. That could be to Italy, Spain, Guatemala. You get the idea. Any country that is not the Premier League in England.
So sold from the Premier League to another team.
Yeah, but outside of the UK. Yeah. And you know what? We'll go. Berth's on the show. So, Berth.
I'm going to go for Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale to Real Madrid, 101 million euros. And I'm going to go to Ollie.
Eden Hazard.
120 million euros to Real Madrid.
Philip Coutinho.
135 million euros to Barcelona.
Jeez.
Worth every penny.
I'm going to go for Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo to Real Madrid for 94 million.
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane to Bayern for 95 million.
That was my shout, you bastard. Luis Suarez?
Luis Suarez to Barcelona for 81 million.
I think it's been a recent one, if I'm not mistaken. Here's my go next, just before I butt in. It is my go, isn't it?
It is your go.
Yeah, it's your go, Berth.
Julian Alvarez.
Julian Alvarez. Oh, yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? He's not on this list, but he is. He is.
That's got to be one, surely.
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah, surely that's one.
Yeah, it's not. I didn't write it in, but it's definitely on there. So I guess there's 26 names. Yeah, he's on there.
I'm going to go. This is a bit of a rogue one. I'm going to go for Oscar.
Oscar to Shanghai SIPG for 60 million euros.
The original Chinese sale. The first Saudi league.
I'm going to go for Chelsea legend, Romelu Lukaku.
Inter Milan, 74 million euros.
Couldn't say it with a straight face, could you?
Oh, right. I don't know if he. Oh, this is such a risk. I don't know if he went on a free or not. Thibaut Courtois.
Oh, that's a good
No, he's not. He's
fuck.
not on the list. I'm going to check how much he did sell for, but while we're waiting, Ollie.
I'm going to go with Michael Elise.
Michael Elise, 53 million euros.
Wow.
We sold him, Courtois, for 35 million pounds.
Wow.
He's just missed it. He just misses out.
Wow, never mind. Never mind.
I'm going to go with Angel Di Maria.
63 million, PSG.
It's
just Ollie and Chris now.
I was gonna go for Di Maria as well. Why didn't I do that?
Rafinha
to Barcelona, 58
Good
million.
shout. What about a real Chelsea legend? Diego Costa.
60 million to Atletico Madrid. We sold it for 60 million. How did we do that still?
Another Chelsea legend, David Luiz.
David Luiz to PSG for 49.
I'm starting to think about Saudi League.
I'm starting to think about his timer, Mikey, that you should be winding up.
I'm just waiting.
Ruben Neves.
Ruben Neves. To Al Hilal for 55 million.
Fuck yeah, don't do that, Mikey. Jesus.
Conor Gallagher.
Conor Gallagher to Atletico Madrid for 42 million euros. He's on there.
How was Alvarez not on there if he went for 75?
Yeah, I know.
I know. I got this list from the quiz site, so you know.
Moussa Diaby, the Villa winger. He's just gone to Saudi, hasn't he?
That's
Al Ittihad.
Chris, you've turned me on in this performance, to be honest with you.
Douglas Luiz.
Ollie.
Douglas Luiz to Juventus for 51
This is like watching
million.
Xavi and Iniesta play football. This is start of the minute.
Alexander Mitrovic.
Stop talking dirty.
52 million. 52 million to Al
Come on,
Hilal.
Ollie. Come on, you can do it.
Bloody hell, Alvarez went for 75 million euros. Wow, he should have been on this
I
list.
know. So I demand.
Tammy Abraham.
Tammy Abraham to Roma for 41 million euros. Wow, you're down to 6 names.
This is incredible. This has been the best one I've ever been a part of.
I don't know how the one player's still on it.
Ferran Torres.
Ferran Torres.
That's got to be one. Yeah.
55 million, Barcelona.
What a performance from Chris here.
Struggling now.
Yeah, I'm struggling too.
I don't know.
I think I've only got one left.
I'm going to go with David Silva.
He's not. Chris, can you win it?
Shall Palinia?
My word.
51 million.
What a
Fair
performance.
enough.
I've got to give it to him. What a performance from the lad.
That was the last one I had. So
Well,
Did what I could.
you had, technically, I could remove one off the list. I did have David Beckham, but he's actually not. Well, technically it's a joint because you could have had Ivan Toney for 42 million euros.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, he was on there. And technically one of these has got to go, but I guess he can't because, it's a tie. You have Danilo to Juventus for 37 million, David Beckham to Real Madrid for 37 million euros, Fabinho, Al Ittihad for 46 million, Leroy Sané to 49 million for Bayern.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot more than 25 players, but still, because some were joints. But hey, I've just pulled the list.
Enough,
Yeah,
Chris. Well done.
well played for you, to be fair. Well played. It was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one, that was.
Chris he's really done well today. He takes its total up to 10 for the season. He's got a nice little 3
double
games.
figures.
Prolific.
Yeah. You know what? Because I've got someone always asks, has a headline as a quick one. Who's the player of the news? 5 clues. Player's got 2 Champions League runners-up medals. He has played at the 2014-2018 World Cups and Euro 2012, 2016, 2020. Jump in if you think. His first match of Euro 2020 scored no goal that gave France a 1-0 win. No. 4th clue, he's won the World Cup. Okay. 5th clue, final clue, the giveaway, apparently. He has played his entire career so far at Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund. Hummels, because he's joined Roma after a contract. His contract expired at Dortmund. I was so close to picking Juan Mata, and then I thought, nah, that's too easy.
I thought he retired.
Who? Hummels?
I thought Hummels retired.
No, he's gone to Roma.
Free agent.
Yeah, it's basically retirement, isn't it?
He gets to play with Dybala. That's pretty fun.
Yeah.
He's even older than Chris.
No, he's not that old. He's not that old.
Wow.
How old's Matt Hummels? Hang on. Matt Hummels.
I hate you all.
Matt Hummels is bloody hell. Matt Hummels is 96. He's getting on a bit.
Oh, so there's only 5 years in it.
Yeah. Oh, he's actually, listen, he's 35. He's 36 in December.
Same age as me, then, actually.
Someone's going to point out, going, actually, he played for Bayern Munich too. Yeah, but still Bayern Munich. Still Bayern Munich. Right, we're at the end of another episode. Treat yourself well. We will be back on Monday to probably do that Anaconda thing that we spoke about ages ago. I don't know. But till then, that is going to be us signing off. You've been listening to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At the Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.